Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week I'm going to be working more on this 72 Duster 340 project of mine. And I mentioned I had some bubbles in the decals after I clear coated it that just kind of appeared and everything. So just trying to figure out how to deal with it. And I had my thoughts on how to do it, and one of them was sand it down, see what happens and what's under that and what's in the bubble, and then see about touching it up. Now, I have another decal sheet, which, you can kind of see in the background and that. And because I have a bunch of these for parts kits, I have numerous decal sheets, but some of them are really old and difficult to deal with. This is one of the newest sheets right here. It's kind of on the bluish paper, and these seem to be working a whole lot better from one of the other ones I was using on this. So that might have been part of my issues. I had multiple sets of decals of different age groups and everything. But what seemed to have happened is whatever it was under the decal, in between the decal and the paint. So whatever triggered it, that's where it was. Because I had cleaned it, washed it, did whatever I could, and it was under the one side for whatever reason and really didn't appear on the other sides. So I made sure my camera was in macro mode so I can really get up close with it. So as you can see, this side's really, really nice. I don't have any issues on this side. So, but on this side I did. And I did do what was suggested by many of you, and I kind of agreed, is I sanded it, tried to get it down. So you can see, I'll get it right up there. You can see a little bit on that fender right there where the decal is pulled away, bubbled a little bit. And this side you can really see. So here we go. Let that get right up there. And so you can see there's a chip there. When it finally peeled away, there's a chip. And then the big one in the back, definitely too. So, and I can feel that. So if I do that, I can feel that. But how I did that without trying to scratch the paint is I took a piece of masking tape and I put it right under it, making sure to get it as close to the decal, to the clear. You see how the orange line there, and it's barely, because I want to lay the other decal right over this. So I took some of these plain popsicle sticks that I got at the hobby store. They're meant for food grade, so they're not contaminated, no chemicals. And then I wrapped the sandpaper around it, and then I just lightly went over it this way, trying to make sure I didn't go over that. And if I was worried about that, then I just laid another piece of tape like this so that you can see where it is, and just gently work that area, sanded it. Of course, there's no sandpaper on it, but it's right here. And this is 800 grit piece of sandpaper that I had used, and probably even more like 1,000 grit because it's pretty well worn. But I put it on here, and I've been sanding and sanding and sanding, and slowly working it down to where you can see the chip. So you can definitely feel that. If I put a decal over that, it's going to show. So I got the same problem there and there. So the next step in my solutions here, so I get this off here. I'm just being a little careful because I don't want it to pull the decal out from under the clear, but shouldn't be an issue with this one. So I got my leftover Plymouth Tour Red. So shake it up here, get it kind of ready. And also some paint here, or my paintbrush, I should say. Real fine one. I'm actually going to put the decal in the box so I don't have any issues or spill it. I really don't need the sandpaper and whatnot. So, and then I've got these two hoods out. I was just kind of playing with them. Have them in the background for eye appeal. But here we go. Since this is airbrush paint, it's all ready to go. It's pretty thin. So this is going to take me multiple layers to get it on there. So, but I will be sanding it. So let's get it up in there so you can see, and hopefully I can still see. So dab, let it peel up. Let's move on to this one. And when it dries, it will shrink into the gap, which is what I want it to do. And then eventually I'll get it above and I'll let it, and I'll sand it again. So hopefully it's small, but I'm using this. It was either this or some clear. I didn't have any clear. And since I use real automotive clear, I can't really mix up such a small batch like this. You know, if I got some other clear that I could possibly use, but we'll get some paint in there and we'll let that dab there. So, okay. And then since it matches, it should be fine. I was half tempted to do this one in black because it might show up as a lighter spot under the decal. We will see. This is kind of an experiment for me too, but it's on film. So if it comes out great, great. If not, nah, okay. We'll learn something together. Okay, so for now, like you can see, it's bulged up a little bit and on all the spots. So I'm gonna let that dry and shrink down. Get a little bit more on this one because it looks like there's a bubble. Okay, there, we'll let it dry and shrink down and we'll see if we can get more on this tomorrow on it. So we'll keep this, let this sit here and dry, and then get back to it here in a little bit. Now I'm gonna go clean my brush. Okay, well, since this is pre-thinned base coat, it dries really fast, even though it takes a couple of dots here and there. So you can kind of see right there that is dried but shrunk into it a little bit. You see it on those two as well. And it really does show on this one. That is dried, but it's sunk in there a little bit. Now, I'm gonna do a couple more dabs of paint here, so to build it up a little bit. Then once it's dried, then I'll sand it just a little bit more. So another dab, and so there we go. Another one right there. I missed the first time, so it's much smaller, but I'll get some in there too. And same thing. Another minute or so, and we'll let it dry. We clean this, and then we'll see where we stand at the moment. So anyway, and then I like to use these on some like this. Sometimes I'll cut it flat to give myself much more square edge. But on this particular one, I like the rounded edge so I can get in there a little bit better. And then lean into it so that it kind of does that just a hair. I'll try and keep it as flat as possible. So, and then put the tape just like right underneath where it is. You can kind of see it shrinking a little bit. So I'll give this a few more minutes and then we'll try sanding on it, see what happens. All right, we've given it some time to dry. So here we go. So now let's sand it just a little bit and we'll see where we're at. So let's get this. Here we go. And I'll go this way so I'll go across it. And my sandpaper, and I got some water here with a little bit of I put a little bit of Dawn soap in it that helps lubricate it, but Dawn, you know, fights grease and everything, but doesn't have any of the additives for your hands. And then I put it like right at the edge, just a little bit past. And let's see how this goes. And as you sand, you can feel it grab. Okay. And you can feel it sand and work on it and grab the high spots. So that's all done. Let's see. Just grabbing a microfiber towel I got laying over there. Let's see. I really can't feel it now. See, because it's dull, you can't see the shine, but really don't feel them. So the paint's pretty darn flush there. So now I think the next step is going to be put the decals on. So we'll work on that, and then I'll update you on how that came out and looks. So we'll set this aside and move on to that, but I got to go to bed at the moment and work on the rest tomorrow. Well, we are definitely a lot closer after letting it dry and seeing how everything is laying out. So I think now it's time to get the decals ready and put them on. We'll just get this one side for now. And we'll start at the front here. And got a Q-tip here to get some of the extras off. And my setting solution, toothpick to move it around if I need to, and the setting solution itself. Get some water on there to help move it around. As I see, it's already letting go. Yep. All right, let's get this one in there. And let's see here. Now the trick when you're doubling up the decals is getting them to line up That's easier said than done sometimes when you're doubling them up. Whoa, whoops. Move that a bit forward. Now let's get it to move back, forward, back. All right, so that. All right, let's get the rear on and see what happens. Not doing so good with this one. Here we go. Oops. You guys see what I'm seeing there? I can get the stripe to line up other than the 340s. I think they're different fonts or different spacing. Yeah, they're different. I know this is from the newer kit, but they're different. Oh boy. So I got to do this. All right. This is going to be difficult. See what I just did there? I cut the 340 off. Yeah, they're definitely spaced different, so I definitely cannot double up the 340s. Okay, well, that's going in the trash. But all right. Definitely much better. But that was interesting that the 340s won't line up. So when I do the other side, I got to make sure I cut it. See, it's interesting that the 340 goes right up to the lines on those decals, and on this one, there's a space between the 340 and the line, and this one goes right up to it. So definitely, I know it's an older set of decals, but now I know that I have to trim off the 340 to get them to line up. Everything else lined up, getting that gap lined up and everything. So we'll just hit it with some setting solution and let this set, and we'll finish this one out. So all right, so that's looking much better. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll go ahead and do the other side, just like I did that side. But I think I'm going to finish this video right here for this one. So you guys, we'll let that settle and do its thing, and I'll show you how it comes out after it settles down. Use the Q-tip here to get a little more of the extra taken off. All right. But definitely improvement over the issues I had. And like I said, just this side, I'll just trim the decal and stick it on. So it's kind of obvious that both sides match and everything. But that's going to finish that, and I'll continue on with it. But this will conclude this episode. So thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really do appreciate it, you guys. And you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday.